Our next individual that we're going to look at is Belay. According to Belay, there is no such thing as informal learning. Belay does not believe in informal learning. He thinks there is no way anybody can learn in informal settings. He sees learning as ubiquitous in human activity. In other words, what he's trying to say is, in whatever human beings do, there are opportunities to learn. So learning is built within and into what human beings do. Whether you are at home, whether you are in exchange or interplay with your family members, with friends, whether you are in a school, whether you're out shopping, whether you're on the playground, there are opportunities to learn. And according to Belay, learning cannot be labeled as informal. It is either formal or non-formal. Most learning takes place outside formal educational settings. In other words, when he says most learning, what he really tends to impart is the fact that learning, lifelong learning, skills and things that children and adults need are learned best outside formal educational settings. When you put students in a classroom and you control them, sit one way, sit straight, no talking, no noise, no movement, no this, no that. There are so many no's within the classroom that we stifle students' learning. Where children can't talk to one another, how are they going to learn? There are 20, 25, 30 students in the classroom, and the only individual who's allowed to talk is the teacher. Learning can't happen that way. That is Belay's understanding of how learning should happen. So, there are two things, according to Belay, that we need to understand. One, learning happens no matter what, where you are, but don't call it informal learning. It is formal or non-formal. He also says that learning mostly happens outside of formal settings, outside of structure, outside of control. When you let children do what they want to do, you will see how fast they can learn. And children can solve their own problems. They don't need a teacher to intervene. They will adjust. They will learn. All we have to do is to let children do what they do best, and that is interact without any discrimination. And so if you look at young children play, you look at teenagers play, you can see the difference. With the teenager group, you can find arguments and discourse. In the children's group, you find more commitment, more need to gel, to come together, to harmonize, and to work together. And that is what Belay calls learning. We have to allow children to learn in their own capacities instead of telling them, this is how you do it, and this is what you need to learn. Lifelong learning skills cannot be taught from a textbook. They can be taught only from the book of life, which is living life yourself. Again, as Belay says, there is no such thing as informal learning. This means that something akin to non-formal learning should be regarded as the standard form. Because remember, he said no informal learning and no formal structure also. So what are we left with? We are left with non-formal learning. And non-formal learning with some structure, some guidance, and some freedom on the student's parts makes learning more enjoyable, more meaningful, more sustaining, and more lifelong. Rather than what is left over once formal learning is accounted for. As somebody said, what is education? Education is what is left with you after you've passed the exam. Ask people, ask students, how much they remember after they've come out of the examination room. Nothing, hardly anything. Have they been educated? Education is what remains with you after you've passed, cleared the exam, and you're out. That is education. So if we only educate in order to pass an exam, that is not education. That cannot be the end of formal learning. And that is why Belay brings in this non-formal piece in the middle, which has a little bit from the formal, a little bit from the informal, and that blend for Belay is the best way to learn.